灵心念内根巴利，桑耶心度。Sing la chupar show. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamya Dayami. Sangye Chudan Soki Chonam La. Changchu Bardu Dagni Kyapsuchi. Dagi Chenyeng Gibe Sanam Ki. Drola Penchir Sangye Drupar Show. Sangye Chudan Soki Chonam La. Changchu Bardu Dagni Gyasuchi. Dagi Chunyeng Gibe Sanam Ki. Drola Penchir Sangye Drupar Show. Sangye Chudan Soki Chonam La. Changchu Bardu Dagni Gyasuchi. Dagi Chunyeng Gibe Sanam Ki. Drola Penchir Sangye Drubar Shogi Shmogi. I'd like to introduce Commander John Foley. Maybe some of you don't know him, but he was a former lead pilot for the Blue Angels, which is a very cool thing. Like, they're the guys who fly like this. So if you saw Top Gun movie, he actually flew some of those scenes. What you may not know is he's graduated from Stanford's exclusive business school and from the Naval Academy, and he's got all these PhDs and MBAs or whatever. And he happens to be also a nice guy. And he does about 100 talks to very large corporations every year, big sports teams, stuff like that, professional football teams and stuff like that. And he teaches them how to reach a higher level of excellence in their performance. And so, because in his business, normally passenger airplanes are required to stay a mile apart. In the military, sometimes you can go, 100 feet apart. In the Blue Angels, you go 18 inches apart. If you touch, you both die. And so he's talking about that kind of improvement in your performance from a mile to 20 meters to 18 inches. So, and his theory is that anyone can increase their performance to that level if they just know the methods that he's used and teaches. Okay? So maybe in your translation work, you could reach a higher level of performance. So he's going to give a nice talk here tomorrow. Yeah. And I hope we can all go, and maybe we can learn something about cranking up our performance. Okay? And I kind of have a fantasy that in the long run, we could have a board of trustees for this college. And I think he'd be good on that board. So he hasn't totally agreed to it. But I think I would want to have that kind of people. And his Dharma practice is very strong, very tight. And he's learned a lot of Dharma from me and from Mercedes and other teachers. So I think it'd be nice. But anyway, that's in the future. Okay, here we go. If you were going to explain to a Blue Angels pilot about your text, what would you say?
Well, it's not just any Blue Angels pilot, but we're doing an overview of ancient Indian schools of philosophy, and not just Buddhist schools. So starting with the lower than the lower schools, which are the other guys, the non-Buddhist schools, and we're, as we talked about this morning, especially in regards to what is a soul or a self, and how that idea progresses from the schools that believe in one to the schools who think they don't believe in one but probably still kind of believe in one, to the ones who don't believe in one. And we are still in the ones who very much believe in them, and working our way through the Jains today, who are an ancient school still in existence. And this is Choni Lama's ideas on how they view the self or the soul, and their other philosophical views in and around that.
And I think I would say it's kind of it's billed as survey of the schools of philosophy, but in what it really is a survey of the concept of a soul, and how does that develop throughout time. And I would say that we're looking to perfect the idea of a soul. You see what I mean? Like, what is the soul really? And, how can you take care of it? And how can you make sure it's happy? And like that. So that's the goal of this. And we start from the almost primitive ideas of a soul, like kill 10 cows and your soul will be happy. And then we move to higher and higher ideas of a soul. Something like that. So the goal is that. You want to... how about, let's start at 177.
Okay.
Who's got the plane? Who corrects the pilot? We call it who's got the plane. They put me in the cockpit of an Austrian Airlines plane.
Oh, yes.
And the cool thing that impressed me was just as we're about to push it, the guy says, I have the plane. And the other guy says, you have the plane. And I said, why do you guys do that? He says, well, one day we both thought the other guy had the plane. And now it's required in Austrian Airlines that, I don't know if it's everywhere, but somebody has to say I'm
It
flying.
is. We call it two-way communication where you have to acknowledge. So whoever has the lead says you have the airplane, the other person says I have the airplane. And then you can do it with just hand signals. So if we were flying in formation, they want to talk, I would go like this. Then, but it's not, you don't transfer the lead till you go like this, you look away, and you go like that. And now the lead is transferred.
I knew that was coming.
Okay.
I knew you were going to say that.
How do it again?
You do it again, and then you push straight ahead.
How do I ask him to take it?
You do this, and you point to the person.
Awesome.
And then if you're receiving it, you look ahead, you look straight ahead.
Okay, read. This is the last two sentences that we covered.
Sikdun ge she cha tam che de par de ching.
No problems yet.
Sounds good.
Alright, we'll get there. Don't worry.
Hey, we'll come up.
I won't let you down there.
The Jains. Jains has started around the time of the Buddha. And for a while they were in heavy competition. And there was a lot of tension. And I once got offered a grant by a diamond dealer. I asked him for $1 million for ACAP. And he said, you got to talk to my guru. And he said, I'll do it, but I need my guru's approval. So I said, well, where's your guru? He said, he's a Jain. Okay, well, where does he live? He's Dikambara, sky clothes, which means he walks around India naked. I said, well, can I make an appointment? He says, once a year he comes to this sacred mountain. So anyway, I met him, and it was kind of a weird meeting. And you have to walk up the mountain barefoot. Not allowed to wear shoes. And my feet were bleeding, and I was doing this for $1 million. And I sat down with him, and he spoke English. His name was Jambudvipa. And he listened very respectfully, and he said, you want Jains to pay for imprinting Buddhist texts? And I said, yeah. And he said, but Buddhists believe nothing exists. And I said, no, we don't. And he said, yes, you do. Nagarjuna said nothing exists. And then we had this debate that must have been the same debate as 1800 years ago, on the same mountain maybe. The same two characters. Maybe we're repeating an argument from our last lives. He's like, yes, you do. I'm like, no, we don't. And we had this long argument, and then finally he's like, oh, you don't believe nothing exists. I said, right. Then he says, yeah, but we're still not going to give you the money. Because they bought cows. They bought like 1,000 cows, and they took care of them. And that. So I couldn't really get mad. Right, Vimala?
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is the Jain school. This is the Jain school. And in Tibetan, it's Cherbupa, which means
They wander around.
naked.
Oh,
Naked guys. Cherbu means naked. Okay. So they're called Jain. They're called Cherbupa. Okay. They believe in 9 basic principles. Run the world. Run the universe. And hopefully by studying other people's, the goal of studying all the schools is to realize every human being has these ideas also. So really it's a study of human psychology. Every human being has the same tendencies to think certain ways, in wrong ways that hurt people. And we just go through the whole list from all of history. But the real goal is to identify which ones you still have deep down. Deep down, do you still have some of these viewpoints? Okay, and that's the goal of study. It's not just to say, oh, 2,000 years ago, this guy believed that. It's like, I could believe this, or anyone I meet could believe this, because that's the human condition. Okay, okay, here we go. So they divided a whole universe into 9 parts. Okay, what? You got the plane.
Guni. Sok dang, sok den dang, sok
Heavy prenatal on the LDs.
sok even
Song den.
song den nimba. Sak chegile domba nye chilongwa
Bongwa.
bongwa. Oh yeah. Dawe ching wa darwa darpa probably. Drowa bongwa tegu. Should that be tarpa?
Tarawa is allowed as a verb, but it's a very rare. So I would check your carving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have just such the thing here.
And you, because it's a list that he's going to explain later, let's see what he uses later.
What do you think? We found another version. So there's between books and carvings, there's handwritten pechas.
They can be okay.
Okay. Well, we found this, and it's crystal clear.
I would use it in conjunction with the others.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Normally, they're more corrupt.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Then, right. Okay, then's a block, but maybe less than the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Block is always the best.
Okay.
People didn't carve things without a lot of money being invested.
Uh-huh.
So there was a pretty high degree of editing.
Mm-hmm.
And because you couldn't change it later.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So that's where
Go.
it goes in the pecking order.
You got the.
Okay. Okay. Oh.
I got the. Samba.
Sok den la gudang tuk tu de pa ni dang po ni sa dang che dang xing me long sin bu tok ma pong ba
Learn to say B that's not a B.
pong ba
Pong, pong.
pong ba
Voice
pong
here. Pong.
pong wa mi te guo pong
Okay.
pong wa.
Translate.
Oh.
The first of the 9 principles,
Mm-hmm.
which is the living,
Mm-hmm.
has
Has 9 parts as well, unfortunately.
Dang Drup.
Oh, dong.
There's 2
that's
schools.
better.
2 schools.
Oh.
Some people say
Some say 9.
9 kinds of life.
There's the Niners and the Sixers.
So yeah, there's the 9ers and the 6ers.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Drupa means who believe in 9 or believe in 6.
I
Okay.
see. Okay, Dongpo Ni. So
Dongpo
here
Ni.
come the Niners.
Good.
Okay.
Now let's see if there's 9 in here.
Okay.
Sa chu me long.
Well, oh yeah, Sa. Yeah.
Well, they add wood.
Oh.
They
okay.
add- so it's not.
Sometimes when there's a
Funny
listed
question
at
with
4
and.
elements, it's 5. This is the one that's used for the calendrical cycles.
Right.
12 times 5.
Oh.
Oh.
They
Oh.
throw. Sometimes they throw in space, and sometimes they throw in wood.
Wood, yeah.
Okay. Moo,
Okay.
moo, moo. Yeah. So you got earth,
Yes.
chu,
Right. Water.
water, xing, wood, me,
Fire.
Fire.
Wind.
lung. Then they have 4 more.
Clouds.
Does that make 9? 1, 2, 3.
That'd be 9, yeah. 5 plus 4.
They got 3 more.
Oh.
Mite guo.
Sa, chu, xing, me, lung, simbu, doma, bun. There's only 8 here.
Oh, boy.
Thanks a lot.
Maybe me as people?
Yeah,
Oh. Is it?
gotta be.
That's not crazy.
Humans.
I'm sorry, human, yeah.
Yeah,
That's 9.
boy.
Who said that? Phil?
No, that was
Oh, Nick, he never gets credit. It's just a karma, I'm sorry.
Nick. Credit.
It's fine.
Okay, so we got the 5 elements. Then we got Simbu, means a worm.
Oh. Oh.
And
like
Trogma means an
okay.
ant. and Pungwa means a fly,
What in the
and
heck?
Mi means humans. And according to them, all forms of life can be divided into these, and they believe the elements have life. They believe they are alive. They believe water is alive. They believe earth is alive, like Native Americans or something.
Animism?
Yeah, it's like that. So Jains believe that the 4 or 5 elements have life.
And animals can be divided into worms.
Yeah,
and
humans. It probably means these are what do you call it?
Insects?
Classifications?
Flies.
Classifications, like anti-sham creatures and fly. Those who fly, those who crawl, those who do. I think it's something like that.
Pungwa.
I think they're meant to be generic. This Pungwa means flies.
Okay. Okay.
Pungwa means donkeys.
Pungwa.
I know Pungwa, and it because Rinpoche used to call. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah, it sounded like we're spiraling out of control.
Okay. Word. I go like this.
Yeah. No, just point.
Oh, I go like.
Sometimes I do this.
Di dak le sa chu shing me lung nam wang bo chik den dang dung hong wa nya chi nam wang bo ni den
Nin den. Heavy LD. Heavy pinito.
ning den
Nin den.
nin den chok ma tang sin yi me sok wang bo sun den hong wa Chang Pum Chu, Pu Chu, Ring So Wang Bo, Shin Den, Mi Dang Kang Shi Wa, Cha Sok Wang Bo, Nga, Den Du Song O.
Songo, good. No corrections, word?
There were a few, he made some noises in there. I heard you.
Okay. Now, they are further subdivided into how many powers they have. So, you know, in Buddhism, we say you have 5 sense powers, right? So or in the Abhidharma 2nd chapter, we have 22 powers, like femininity, masculinity, these are different powers. So they divide the powers like this.
Oh boy.
Sa Chu Shing Me Lung No.
Okay, so the powers of the elements, can you say that?
The 5 elements have only
One
a single power.
each.
What's that power? He doesn't say.
Okay.
Okay. But they have a single power of,
Oh,
I don't know, feature of
why would you?
livingness. You know, they have I don't know, limited powers.
Okay.
Okay. Then Tung Pungwa Nyachi. Nyachi means oysters, okay? It can also mean mother of pearl. And it's not very common, as you can guess. Tung, you know Tungkar.
Conch?
Good. Yeah. You're hot today. Yeah, shell creatures under the ocean are called Tung.
Shellfish.
Yeah, Dung. And Dung became a word for a Dharma horn later.
Power of not being eaten by Jews.
Yeah, yeah, Dung. Pungwa means a fly.
Okay.
Okay. So these 3 kinds of creatures are considered less primitive than the creatures who are elements that are alive. Okay, 2nd level creature. 2nd level life. Okay, less primitive is shelled creatures and mussels, and
I'm sorry, so you
Flies.
They have a little more power?
they have 2 powers.
Oh, they have 2.
Ninden.
Neat.
That's probably misspelled.
Good.
Let's put a question mark.
Yeah.
His text is particularly corrupt.
So it's a fly? A fly is a shelled creature?
No, they just put him in between 2 shelled creatures. Okay,
Is this the newer input of this text?
No,
Oh.
Isn't it?
it is not.
Oh, okay. We keep trying to find originals that are more clean.
I
Okay.
think we have a newer version.
We
Okay.
do.
Don't know
Well,
if it's
this,
better yet.
this creates a problem. We might as well ask you, like,
Halfway through, you can change. I don't care. Yeah.
but if we change, does it matter that we got this from a certain version? Like, we can change and we can take the rest and put in some other version, but does it matter that this text be cohesive to a single?
No.
Okay.
We want to come as close as we can to a correct text.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
You can make a footnote that says that's what we did. Probably we should. Okay.
Okay.
Go. Pungwa.
Yeah, Pungwa, these are our flies again?
Yeah, Pungwa Zhangpu.
Jumbo?
Wait, where are we? Yeah. This is a mistake, okay?
Oh, no, we didn't do the sum yet. What has 3? Dokma.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chogma. Singi Mei means it comes in the study of the death process in Tantra.
Oh, okay.
That eat your body or something?
Fireflies.
Fireworms. Oh, fireflies. Oh,
So there's a point in the dissolution of consciousness during death in Tantra where you start to see fireflies.
subtle fire.
You see sparks like this.
Oh, I remember.
And this is called fireworm. Fire insect, Singi Mei.
Okay.
Okay.
Shingime.
So ants and creatures like fireflies,
Oh boy.
small flies, have 3 powers. They're the next tier of the animal realm,
Okay.
more developed.
Okay.
Then Bongwa, Trangbu, and Trangbu and Churing. This is totally mistaken. Okay, this boom is Bu Chu. This is correct. Okay, Churing. So Chu means lips. These are called Chu. Okay,
Yeah, Puchu.
with this spelling with an M. Churing means a crane, which is sometimes called tung tung, like you see in Chinese paintings or something. Long legs, long, you know. Okay, tung tung. So those guys, Bungwa Zhangbu. This is now you got horse flies, house flies, okay, and fireflies.
Okay.
Okay, those guys have 3 powers. Next level of life.
Okay.
up.
Thought I seen everything till I seen an elephant fly.
Sorry, they have 4 powers, right?
Okay.
Now, humans, okay, Mi Dang,
Yeah.
Kang Shi Ba means 4-legged creatures of any kind.
Okay, cool.
4-leggers.
Like us.
Doggies.
4-leggers.
Okay.
Throw in birds,
Yeah. Okay.
Jaso, they have 5
Yeah,
powers
powers. Interesting. All right. That's
Okay.
weirdly interesting.
in this system. Right.
All right.
Mm,
So does this mean by now that we're starting to want to take powers to mean our basic 5 sense powers and that the
I don't know if I would call them, I would just call them powers, because in the Abhidharma, for example, powers just means personal
Like the indras. Like
abilities. It's almost like abilities or forces within the body and mind.
Like walking.
It's mental and physical forces within the human being. I wouldn't go so far as to call it a sense power.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Now, as you remember, there's 6 kinds of life system. Here we go. Who's got the plain word?
Louder.
Sokchen Drugni Se Lu Gi Dok Den De Shindu Shindu Chene Lung Dang Naki Shingdang Tarwe Lu Ki Chala Sem Yavar De Do.
Dodo. Yeah. By the way, it's not just to study weird ideas of another school. It's what we're really interested is in their idea of the soul, and that's where this literature came from. It came from the middle of Chandakirti, when he was discussing the idea of a soul as it has developed through time, through history. So it's actually quite a beautiful subject. What is the soul? They have this weird idea about the soul. Do you remember about the size of the body?
Yeah, right. Your soul is as big as your body, and then we made a lot of Mahatma jokes.
Yeah, like fat people have more soul than skinny people. Like the size of the soul fits the size of the shoulders, and
Why, like Fats
Yeah.
Domino
Yeah,
had a lot of soul.
but if you were born, if you had been born in a culture that taught that, you would
Sure.
defend it now, and there'd be preachers on radio about gaining weight.
Right.
You know, and you would believe it if you were born there. You see what I mean? We're not that smart.
Elvis and his later
Probably a
years.
lot of what we believe is similar to the soul is as big as your shoulders idea. Okay. The idea is to get some distance from your own beliefs and learn to, you know, maybe your belief is as silly. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so they say the whole earth has a body,
Okay.
and that has life.
Okay.
Okay, the planet has life. The planet has one life. Okay, and water, fire, and wind. Jamya Shepa, I used him for this section because, and I was really trying to figure out this section because I wasn't comfortable with it. And it wasn't clear to me that they did believe the elements were alive, but they do. Okay, they believe it's a primitive form of life. Okay, so just for your information, the word Lu distributes forward.
Wow.
The body of the earth element, the body of the water element, the body of the fire element, the body of the wind element. Okay?
And this text comes up so often that I have to wonder if Tony Lama was, like, had it open on his desk sometimes.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I believe he did study briefly with Jamya Shepa.
That's interesting.
Yeah, his life story is very interesting, and I wrote a piece on it at the beginning of the Dhammakaya commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Yeah, his life is full of small miracles. And in his secret biography, he says, I have this recurring dream since I was a little boy of Nagarjuna in gold flying over my head. And and I yell at him, and he pauses, and he says, what? And I say, where are you going? He says, to the west, and you're going to help me. And he said, I never figured it out. Anyway, it's in his ancient biography. It's like weird. It's like, ugh. Okay. Nakishin, the trees of the forest. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The trees of the forest. And then he says the body of freedom. Okay? And that just irritated me, because what the heck is that? And I went and got Jamya Shepa.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that's an error for Jebulu.
Oh.
And he says, I think it refers to J as far as grains,
Wow.
which is a big jump from the body of freedom.
There is.
Okay, so you gotta have a footnote there. Okay, like body of freedom, according to the best author after them, is that he says, I think they're talking about the life force of seeds, physical seeds like for wheat or barley or rice, the life inside of a seed.
Mm.
So I went and cut it out for you, and you can play with it. Nick's gonna get them to take out those irritating backslashes. Here's where he repeats Lu for everything.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And he says some books say that the master of the forest, and he says that's a reference to the trees. So that way Tony Lama read it is okay. Okay. And he quotes different translations. Ralotawa was a great translator.
Oh, yeah. He said
And
Yamanta Kalani.
yeah.
Whose book is this guy?
This is a Dupta by Jamya Shepa.
Okay.
Kachik Jeba Lu She Tawe Lula Chepa Mantakpe. So some people say, oh, sorry, that some people say Tarpe Lu, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But some people call the Drebu Lu the Tarpe Lu. But that's not correct. Matar. It's not a correct reading. Ne song du nam sem den du dum dun nangwe so. Nangwa means it seems to me. It means I'm not even sure. It seems to me that what they're trying to say is that they believe that grains such as barley have their own life.
Okay.
Okay, so he explains, he says the reading carpe lu is definitely incorrect. It's a carving error or something. He says read it as jebu lu.
Right. And this
Okay.
is where Ben's the break trying to find Jane books on Wikipedia about.
Yeah, that's it. We were going to
life.
ask my Jane friend if he knew about any of this. What do they call it nowadays? It'd be interesting to see. Okay. Okay, that's the people who believe in 6 kinds of life. Semdentu. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes you just scratch your head and you get in a crash or something.
No, that didn't happen all the time.
Self-driving car.
Didak pelcherla semek yang yi semden du de pa yino.
Anybody want to take a shot?
The majority of these say that they, even if they don't have mind, they
Some
still
agree that they do
have
have
mind.
minds.
That although
I think what he's saying, this is our guy talking now, Choli Lama.
although the majority say that they don't have minds, they in fact do believe they have minds.
I think it means Pelcher La Sem Mekyang, even though most of the things in the list don't have mind,
Right.
they think
They do.
they do have
Oh,
mind.
right.
That's all. Most of the stuff in their list, like dirt, doesn't have a consciousness, but you know, that's what they think. Okay, he's just kind of wrapping up. He's wrapping up the first of the 9 principles of Jainism. What has life? Okay, now he's got to the second of the 9.
Sokde mimbani, sokde nepa ga shiko.
Sheik.
Chic.
Sheik. Sheik means flee. Sheik means some thinkers. Guess which one here. Okay, good. What is the second principle of Jainism? Is what does not possess life. It's defined as a couple of stuffs that don't have life.
Yeah.
But that's it. End of story.
See you later.
Some stuff doesn't have life. Next one.
Moving on.
Seems
Thanks a
like we
lot.
covered everything. So
That
I
was-
can imagine in that list we went through where you put something else.
Yeah, Gashik means some stuff doesn't have life. But I don't know what it is. If it's the 5 elements. I don't know.
Clouds seem to be covered underwater.
Clouds and peacocks?
We covered birds.
Is that that owl go with the ship with the god?
Sorry?
There's a space, and I'm wondering.
Oh yeah, there's a space between the O and the shape.
Required. Required. You tell me.
The space before the Z.
Oh,
You're not allowed to have a shay after ga.
Because it looks like
It's
a
a- Yeah, it would look like a nga. It's illegal to have a ga after a. After a sh-
The god is
I think she
really
means the
the
suffix
But it's
on
got a narrow
ga.
above it, so you can't
oh,
really tell.
those are both
So-
correct.
This is the spelling of some.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Owl
That's
gone.
It's the spelling for some. If it had a D, it would be
Happy.
happy. Yeah.
And you can't
Okay.
put a prefix
That's
in the
why-
letter that doesn't have a.
That's why you have to say nga.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why you have to say
Yeah,
nga.
it's not a prefix, but you can't put a prefix on a letter without a vowel that doesn't have a suffix, so you have to put an after the nga.
Okay, thank you.
That's true. Okay, third form of life.
Le ni shin shi te chi monger
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
younger tang ming dang ru dang say war shi or supposed to be
Karma is of 4 types. Okay, the first one is easy. We just had it this morning. Chi Nyongyo.
okay.
Oh, karma experience.
Later on. This spelling of chi means later on.
Okay.
Karma, what were the 3 categories we had this morning?
those experiences.
This life, next life, and subsequent lives.
And ground.
Okay, cool.
So that one's okay.
So we had
Then it says Ming, name. Then it says tu, which means time, and then it says life, which is se.
So you said
Ru?
you said
But two
Ru
is
there.
supposed to be Ru,
Well, now I went to
which agrees with our other text.
this great Mongol scholar, you know. He said, lay, karma in the Jain system is life, etc. Ru, which means bone,
Yeah.
but it also means clan,
Oh.
okay?
Oh.
And or your nationality and name and experience later on. When this commentary says life and the rest, it's incorrect. The word lu is misspelled. It should have been ru.
Wow.
Okay, so that's proof.
Wow.
He already commented on this mistake.
Amazing.
Somebody else commented on this mistake before. Okay, it doesn't mean time. It means I'm going to give my interpretation. It's nowhere in any of the literature. It'd be interesting to look it up online for Jains. You know, what do they think the four kinds of karma are? I'm guessing. You know, what kind of race of people as far as name? Are you Smiths or are you Japatis or are you, you know, what kind of name family name are you born with?
Or this could be the karma of what caste you're born into.
It could very well be.
Yeah.
I don't know, and no one has ever taken a shot at it other than to say it's misspelled.
Okay.
And say, I guess, where do you live, you know, or what's your life?
They have,
Okay, how long do you live?
I'm looking at it. It says they have a nama karma, body determining karma. Like Ru.
Uh-oh.
That's what it says.
Is that Wikipedia?
Yeah, it's a wiki thing.
Oh.
Maybe you go study it.
Yeah,
Right.
check it out.
Maybe the guy who thought it was Ru was wrong.
Or maybe the Jains.
But your guy's even more creative. He spelled it D-U-S.
Right, yeah, time.
So we got three different ideas about the
Wow.
spelling. Okay? Good luck.
Thanks.
By the way, Ming may be Tongche. I throw that out to you.
In what way might it be that?
When he says Ming in a list of karmas,
Yeah.
after saying that which is experienced in later lives, it's possible that this Ming refers to karma you see the result in this life. Name in Jainism may refer to karma you see in this life.
You're just basing that on where it happened in that
No, I
place.
found some weird commentary that
Oh.
said that.
Who said that?
Mm,
Daymaker, we've used this.
Oh.
Tongchun Yongyurke Le.
Daymaker. It's from
Okay.
where did we?
Tongchun Yongyurke Le. Okay.
Yeah.
The karma which you see ripen in the same life.
Oh,
Depa Kashiki Dusu, according to some groups, the karmic maturation starts in this life. If it starts in this life,
wow.
it's called Ming.
Ming Tongchi. Wow.
Ming Tongche. You get. I'm just saying there's some evidence
It's like we're
that
so close to
when the
telling.
Jains say name,
Okay.
they may mean Tongche.
Okay.
This guy thinks that.
That's helpful.
And he is Gyalwang Zi. He's the guy who directed the carving of the Lhasa Kangya,
Oh, cool.
which we input. It took us 25 years. We're done with it.
Was it carved like back in the early before Tsongkhapa?
It ended in 1959,
Okay.
and they never got to the Tengyur because the country was attacked and taken over. So there was no Tengyur. There's no Lhasa Tengyur.
Right. Right.
And he was executed.
By the Chinese.
No, by the Tibetan.
Because he made a mistake.
He made mistakes in the editing,
Yeah.
and he was executed.
That's pretty
So
rare.
we can footnote.
So we're going to do it a little easier. We're not going to have that system here.
Does anybody else want to
We're just going to hang you up for a few days.
Tibetan database?
Flogging for
Pass.
typos.
Oh, yeah.
Flogging system.
So we can footnote his opinion without taking an opinion ourselves. We can say, hey, look, he thinks.
Yeah, and okay, now I want to, this is, what do you call that? Exposition time? Expostulation time.
For doll.
I will not allow the corruption of any of our translations by the internet. We determine the internet, we are not determined by the internet. Okay, so I will not accept a translation. I will not accept an opinion from the internet about spellings or historical. I don't trust any of it. You go read any wiki article about Buddhism, it's incredibly wrong. Everything about it's wrong, not one or two things. Everything is wrong. So I want to be the standard by which the internet is adjusted. I don't want to repeat things from the internet that I cannot confirm in the scriptures. Okay, so you have 100,000 books. Use them. Use them as your source. Don't go to someone's opinion on the internet, which is very likely wrong, almost certainly wrong. And don't repeat internet rumors in our series, in our translation series. Stick to the scriptures. Quote other scriptures to prove your points. This is like, and he had a list of Chinese names for deities. I sent it to them to check. I didn't trust you. And but I couldn't check the Pali. So I'm very, very hesitant to put it in one of our books.
I was just thinking about the Pali.
Yeah, I can't confirm it, you see? I can't say it is in that book. It's an opinion on the internet. And the level of information on the internet in our field is incredibly bad. So I don't want to be the person who repeated some Dharma rumor from the internet blindly. We have a search program. We have millions of pages. Use it. Learn to quote the ancient sources to confirm the ancient source. Use the internet. Okay, I'm going to take it out of every book. You can do it. I'm going to take it out. And I have the right to do that because I built it into the contract.
We have a...
No, so I reference another ancient book. And then you become the standard on the internet. And you're a good standard. You see what I mean? But having said that, since nobody knows anything about Jains, if we can find a Jain who says, these are the four, and it says body instead of bone, I'll take it. Okay? That's my exception.
Okay.
If it's a school nobody knows anything about, and you find a tradition in India where it's been body for 2,000 years, probably it's okay. What, you found something?
There is an article on Harvard about Jain 9 principles. So maybe
Oh, cool. Okay.
You're welcome to send that to me. That would be really great.
But what I'm trying to say is, if you use the ACIP database as it stands today, you can definitely write a better article, and it will be more correct.
Did you ever check?
And I'm adamant about it. I've read thousands of corrupt articles. They're
Corrupt.
use your own database. Use somebody from the 1200s to prove something from the 1100s, and don't go looking on the internet. Okay.
We have buddies at Sutta Central.
Yeah, good.
Do Theravadan stuff.
Now,
Pali and they do it in Chinese.
if
too.
you can find a Pali expert, I'll buy it.
These guys are
Then you
pretty
can
good.
put Pali in your text.
Yeah.
But if they're using the internet, I went to Varanasi, I rented an apartment. I went to find a Sanskrit teacher. I found one. He's the highest recommended Sanskrit teacher in Varanasi. And we got to the word ruru on the first day. He said, I don't know what this is. He went and got Monio Williams,
Ouch.
a corrupt Englishman.
Right.
And he said, it means this. I said, no, it doesn't. It means this. And I quit. And I gave up the apartment. Because they're using the corrupt
Right.
books that were written.
The British is using the corrupt Germans.
Yeah. No, who stole it from the Germans?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Who stole it from the Russians? And it's just like rehash bad information. I really want us to be like a rock. We are, everything expressed in a footnote comes from another classic. And I tell you, in time, people will learn that you are the ones to be trusted. Because you're not repeating something you read on the internet. Okay, cool. And I know how stuff starts because I see transcripts of my own teachings.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm like, I never said that. Okay, anyway,
Yep.
sorry. I was going to tell Word, find me a Pali scholar or don't put it in there. And I checked your Chinese and I fixed a couple things. But only because I had some friends who could do it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, go.
Donba ni ngate, ngaki donba, ne nyewar rab ne ki harngao.
Yeah, now this is difficult because
Yeah.
Domba can have so many meanings.
Yeah.
Give me some meanings.
Vows.
Commitments.
Yeah, it can mean commitment,
Practices.
it can mean vow, and it can mean self-control. For example, Shakba Dang Domba.
Can mean
Oh,
summaries.
yeah.
We had it yesterday.
Confession and
Confession
commitment.
and
Confession and commitment to restrain yourself.
Right.
So Domba can mean, Tomba means to tie up. So, and what's a spider called who ties nets?
A dome.
Dome. Yeah, see, it's the same word, okay? So there are 5, I say commitment. It's not a vow, okay? It's a commitment,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And
What is Ngawan building?
he says it starts with Ngaki Domba,
Okay.
commitment of your speech, how you use your mouth,
Okay.
and it goes up to Rab Ne Wer Rab Ne, which is not any Tibetan word. It's just an artificial word. I looked it up, I figured it out. It means stuff you agree to carry around.
Oh.
Like a Buddhist monk has to have a strainer,
Oh, interesting.
has to have a staff, has to have a bowl. It's complicated to be a Buddhist monk. Thai. Now, I went and got you this list from the Mongol extraordinary scholar, Loan Pelden, who wrote Tantric level, what, 6?
6.
He wrote an overview of Tantra, and I translated the whole thing. And that's level 6 in the Tantra course. And it was hard and it was beautiful.
It's
So
amazing.
he's famous for that. He's a great, great scholar. So, you know, we just got permission 10 days ago. She went to Mongolia, she signed a contract. There were times when they were carving 1,500 books a year in Ulaanbaatar, in Tibetan. So they were ahead of the Tibetans for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, they were the empire, right? Ming Chao? Ming dynasty was Mongol. They had all the money for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So they still use it as their like Buddhist language
Yeah,
for studying.
they don't study in Mongolian.
Cool.
Yeah.
Liturgical,
Yeah. Okay, anyway, so this great Mongol scholar. So there's some great ones. The one who wrote the only textbook for the mother vows. Yeah,
Yeah.
the highly secret vows of how partner practice. He's a Mongol,
Yeah.
and it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So here's his. Let's go. You ready?
Are we back to my text, or are we reading?
We're reading the
Oh,
text you're
okay.
going to use for a footnote.
Okay. Okay.
Because he only identified the first and the last of the
Right.
5.
Okay.
We got to go find someone who lists the 5,
Domba ni ngate
and we're not going to look it up on the internet.
cherpu la sopa jepa chelam di domba dang mi mawe yiram chawa soke ki domba dang shen la long mo chilpa papa shiki tsowa yong su tsowe dong.
Domba.
Oh,
Keep going.
Sorry.
I didn't clean it up for you. I was in a
Yeah,
rush.
no
Sorry.
problem. Sun yom lang ba che su min dor wei dong ba dang chang yap dang rilba la sopan zin ba nye war rab tu nye be dong bao.
So these are the 5. I take them to be the 5 commitments to carry certain things around with you, or 5 commitments.
Okay.
The last one was to carry something around with you. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the 5. Let's clean them up. So he describes it and then he names it. So you're going to have to start at the end of each sentence and put a colon. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pretty corrupt text.
Yeah.
But, that's what we're here for. Okay, good. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Cherbu. Dobani ngate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here are the 5 dombas.
Yeah, there are 5 commitments in Jainism,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the 9 principles of Jainism.
Mm-hmm.
I forget which number. Well, we had life, no life. I forget.
This must be the third.
All right, no, I gotta go. There's a third one.
Uh,
Oh, karma. Kinds of karma. Kinds of life, kinds of non-living things, kinds of karma. And now we're on to their idea of spiritual commitments. And they have survived for over 2,000 years, and they are cool people. They are really nice people. They're amazing people. So I think it's a pretty good system. Okay, here we go. Cherbu la sopa. So go to the end. Chulam Gadomba. A commitment about,
activities,
it's the 11th of the Vajrayogini Yoga.
charya.
Everyday life. Okay? Chulam means everyday life. What's your commitment as far as everyday life? Walk around Cherbu.
Naked.
Etc. He doesn't list.
There's
Okay.
not a lot of etc.
And with your hair.
By the way, why do they walk around naked?
So they don't harm, so it
Yeah.
doesn't create the harm from making the cloth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they believe that farming,
Hurts
even
the body.
cotton, kills many creatures, so they refuse to wear cotton. And they really do, and it's kind of shocking the few times you pass them on the road or something, and then you're kind of like, okay, that's cool. They have a broom when they walk. They go real slow and they sweep the ground so they don't step on anything. So, but it makes them nice people in the end. Okay, keiki domba.
Time?
What's ke mean?
Okay.
It's yeah, good. Pokedu, gyalgar kedu.
Okay.
Okay, it's a commitment about how they talk.
Okay.
Yidam chawa means they make a promise to their deity. They promise God. Mimawa. Yeah, I will. Muna. Mauna. I will not speak. I will keep silence. So some of the Jains don't talk their whole life. They're like old Christian nuns. Okay, and it's cool. Yongsu Tsulwe Domba, commitment to seek your needs and not buy them, not work and buy them.
Begging.
It means begging. Okay, Yongsu Tsulwe, this is the Tsul in Chaktsel, to prostrate, to seek a boon from the hand of your teacher. Okay, Shenla Longmo Chupa Bashik. Longmo means to beg. Okay, so they follow a lifestyle only, exclusively, of begging in order to tsoa. We
Make
have
a living.
nice, damn, Loktsonga,
The five
Five
ways you
vibrations.
shouldn't make a living.
damn. You better slow down. Okay, I was gonna ask you the 5, but I want to pretend I know something. Okay, Domba. Chusu comes in the 4 laws of karma.
Right. Fading.
Damn. Yeah, Chusu means it just goes away. It just fades away. And the principle is that it never does. No karma is ever lost.
Oh, Chirisawa.
Ever. A million years can go by and it will never just go away. So Chusupa means wasted, goes bad. Like, I'm taking care of somebody's dog. He spent the whole night chewing on this bone, a lamb bone, and in the morning he's like, you were there. Yeah. I was like, here's your bone. He's like, it just, it got stinky and old, and he's like, He spent all day yesterday with it. And then today is just, it means, now it's stinky. It's too old, okay? Dorwa means to throw out. We had Chidor
Sweep.
as the book of Kedupje.
Yeah, sweep it clean.
Yeah, so Chusu Mindor, don't throw out, don't waste offerings. Don't waste food. It's a way of life with Jains. They will not cook more than they need.
What's food here?
Sunyom means what you have. Sunyom means, it's not Sunam, it's not her name.
Right.
Sunyom means food you have begged.
So really
Sunyom,
soft.
it's not related to anything. What it means is food received from begging.
Okay.
Sunyom lang, past tense, means
Take it.
food you took through begging. You're especially supposed to treat it with great care. It's holy, and you cannot waste. So never take more than you need. And they're very good about it. Real Jains, they're in good shape, they're healthy, they never cook more food than they can eat. It's just a thing. They will not keep anything overnight.
We're at 1 minute.
And it's a cool way of life, you know. They're pretty cool people. Most of the diamond dealers are Jain. Because they couldn't farm. Historically, they couldn't farm. So they started doing diamonds and stuff. All right, last one. And they still won't eat any food that comes from under the earth. They can't eat roots, carrots, beets, because it has creatures in it. Okay, last one. This dung, and maybe you want to change my dung from before, you can read dungma as a mosquito. And yup means a net, or a covering, or a curtain. So dung yup means mosquito net. Rilpa, I think, is a brass pot that you have to carry around with you for water. So a Jain monk will keep a water pot and a mosquito net.
Probably a strainer.
Yeah, they don't say strainer. It's usually a small brass pot that they carry around for water. La sopa zimbenyera rapti nepe domba. They commit to have these accoutrements. Yeah. And those are the 5 commitments.
You gotta wonder if the mosquito net is what's evolved into the mask that they wear.
Yeah, I wonder. Now, our guy, when he mentioned these 5, he gave the first and the last.
Right.
And he said the commitment regarding your speech. So I take that to be the one of silence.
Yeah.
And then he said the commitment to keep certain things with you, that's the same. That's the last one in both lists. Okay, cool?
Yeah.
All right then.
But didn't they start with walking around naked?
They did.
Yeah, you see, the Mongolians list started with naked, and the second one was silence. But the list of Choni Lama started with a commitment of speech, which I take to be silence. Okay. Okay.
Sashi
Pugi Jushi Metok Tam Rira Lingshi Ninde Gembadi Sangye Shindu Mikte Uwargi Dokun Namdak Shingla Chuparsho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kanye Atayami
Gewadi
Geokun Sanam Yeshe Tsotsok Shing Sanam Yeshe Le Chung Wei Pampa Kunyi Topar. Not today, but who might donate $1 million to the